Hey copper nerds, I went to the mountains for the weekend and I came back with some copper. So as I've discussed before, I live in beautiful Montana, the state of Montana, and I reside and work in the eastern part of the state, which is known for its prairies and plains and badlands. But occasionally I like to get back over to the mountains. I did live in the western part of the state for a while in Missoula, and a couple buddies and I like to go spend time in the Bozeman area. And then we always head over to Pony, Montana, which is sort of our base camp for hiking and four-wheeling and snowmobiling and all kinds of outdoor stuff that we like to get out and do a couple of times a year. So that's what I have been doing this past weekend. While we were there, I picked up some really cool copper stuff. We went and hung out at the Penny Ranch for a little bit. I always hit up the Penny Ranch when I'm in Bozeman, Montana. Bridger, the owner there, is always very fun to talk to. He really does enjoy copper. I'll show you a little bit of his copper inventory, which is down quite a bit. He usually has a pretty decent large cent inventory. I picked up an 1823 N2 from him. If you've watched my video about the Hobo Nickel and Hobo Large Cent, that kind of cool trench art large cent came from the Penny Ranch as well. But what caught my eye when I was there this time was just some copper. This big 5-pound copper bar, which was probably copper from the Butte copper mine, but was poured in Helena, Montana. So that's a 5-pound bar. And then these two copper nuggets came from the Butte copper mine, which is well known. In fact, I'll show a picture of the Butte copper mine. Butte is, it's known for its copper mine. It's a mining town. So kind of some cool little copper artifacts that I can leave on the desktop that came from my home state here. So that was fun. And then I grabbed this little George Washington copper uniface token, just a little novelty that I thought was neat, but a little bit of a different format on this one. Gonna show you some random footage from the weekend, and you'll see off in the distance in one of these clips, Hollow Top Mountain, which looks kind of like a volcano with a hollow top. And my buddies and I like to hike to the top of that once a summer. We're gonna do that in July. But we did our little recon mission, went out, found some wildlife, you'll see that. And I'll show you a little footage from the Penny Ranch. I recommend them highly. I'll show you a little bit of info about how you can check out their inventory and how to get a hold of them. So something a little different today, but with that introduction, let's get into it.
I wanna go.
Pokemon cards are next. We're doing the Penny Ranch first. You guys, you're how lucky you are to come with me to the Penny Ranch. Yeah, Pokemon cards. They were giving me a hard time about being a numismatist because, not everybody is a nerd like we are. But this is the Penny Ranch's little storefront. You got a graded Sheldon? I would love to see that.
All right, give us a minute and then we'll be right with you.
Cool.
All right.
So as I noted, the Penny Ranch was pretty low on large cent inventory. They had ample large cents to sort through last time I was there. But Bridger said they really had a run of people buying large cents, which I think is wonderful. I'd love to see their inventory moving quickly.
They talk about price.
So looking in the case there, I was really just trying to take a look at that Engelhard poured bar, and I have one 10-ounce Engelhard myself. It's one that my dad gave me for Christmas last year, actually, and he's had it since before I was born, or since I was a baby anyway. So I was like, yeah, cool, a poured Engelhard. And he had a good price on it too. But what caught my eye in the background was these nuggets. So I inquired about them. So these are from Butte. What do they run?
They were kind of just a curiosity. I don't know, probably do like $50 on the pair.
Yeah, so we're doing that for sure. Sweet. So we had a little banter off camera, Bridger and I did, and I told him that since I had last seen him that I'd started this copper channel, which he took some interest in. So we talked about that a little bit, and then he pulled out that graded Sheldon. You'll see that here in a second.
No wonder you're all about the copper.
I want this, so in my channel I have stuff in the background.
So this is cool too. This was copper that was locally refined by a
Okay.
guy.
Yeah, slap it on there. For $55? Looks like I'm just buying junk copper today. But you said you're at about 1,700 on the Sheldon 287?
Yeah, I'd probably be right around there.
And if they have provenance or whatever you call that, like do you know where this comes from and all that, or does that make it more valuable?
So that's
Does
kind of
make
the
it more
crazy
valuable.
thing about coins, right? Is if these coins could only talk, there's no way to know where most of them have come from, right? So if you have someone very famous and you know that coin is attributed from them, it can really increase the price. Yeah.
I do a lot of collecting by attribution and by
What's attribution?
by variety attribution and then by provenance. I've had a couple of beers already today for lunch.
What's attribution?
So this is the Sheldon 287,
Yeah.
which means that it's the 287th die variety that was recognized in the large cent series. You got a call coming in? Okay, well you better grab it. I'll finish up with you after that. Yeah, I do a lot of provenance tracking stuff as well. So I'm really just into 1794 large cents myself, and
Sure.
I've got like 44 of the 58 together. So I'm always looking for the ones that I'm missing. But we have really good provenance tracking at 1794largecents.com. Yeah, we just got back from having some beers at lunch, and I wasn't driving this weekend, which was great. So I really kicked back and had a good time before we stopped over at the shop. And then the whole weekend, really, it was great. But that Classic Head's available if anyone's interested in it. I'll have the contact information for Bridger here. And then my buddies were asking just some basic questions about coin collecting. So that's what we were talking about a little bit there. Okay. When 1789 token, really?
I don't believe it's
was
it's
gonna
not
say
actually
it's-
from 1789. It was like a commemorative thing.
Yeah. Was it a... How would only one side be struck unless it was...
I think that was how it was meant to be a uniface. So
Oh, it's meant to be a
Yeah.
uniface. Okay. That's cool.
Sorry to get in your video.
No, you're good, man. So this is refined in Bozeman, as far as locally?
Helena, the guy.
Helena?
Yeah.
So these are both from Butte.
These were from Butte, is what I was told when they came in.
Sure. This was refined in Helena. Okay.
It's funny when the guy brought these and he brought about 5 of them in a burlap sack, and he's like, I've got some gold bars to trade in, and I was like, dude, I can't even look at these gold bars. And then he pulled them out. He's like, nah, it's just copper.
All right, so I'm at the Penny Ranch in Bozeman. You've kind of seen a little bit of what they do here. Some contact info. What's your eBay store?
Penny Ranch.
Penny Ranch on eBay. Cool. And then you're getting on Whatnot, you said, and then you're gonna do some direct sales online as well, you're saying?
Yes, we're gonna get to the point where we're gonna get all that up and going. Right now, though, easiest way will just be to get in touch with us at the shop.
Gotcha. Let me show you Bridger's eBay store real quick, and hilariously, the very first thing listed is a Pokemon card.
And I appreciate you coming.
Yeah,
coming
absolutely.
in.
You got a great little shop. I love coming up here. We have that little shop at home, but when I get to Bozeman, I make these guys bring me here. So, yeah, this is the hall. We'll look at all that later, and then some fun stuff for the tabletop. Trying to have interesting things in the background, and rock hopper is something I haven't gotten after. I wonder how old this is. 5 pounds. I love it.
It's got a beautiful patina.
Yeah, it's really great. And Penny Ranch on eBay, just Penny Ranch.
Penny Ranch.
Okay, cool, sweet. So that was a fun little adventure, and as it always is, I really do enjoy the Penny Ranch. I'll have some contact info there in the description for this video, and then of course I've showed you some of that info on the card, but there it is again. Feel free to pause it and note that if you'd like. And with that, we're going to get back to our weekend adventure. Well, thanks for coming here with me, fellas.
That's what
I know you had a good time.
Yeah, I did. What did you get?
I got a bunch of copper. I got a 5-pound copper bar and a couple of copper nuggets from the Butte mine, Butte, Montana, Butte, America mine. So then we loaded up the side-by-sides and headed out to Pony, Montana for our little bit of a weekend adventure and recon mission. We saw a little bit of wildlife. You know, people like to say they're more afraid of you than you are of them. Not this time. So we did a little bit of hiking and had to cut down a few trees that were across the trails to get the side-by-sides through, and met a bunch of people, not a bunch of people, a few people on the trails. They were nice. Some bear hunters and some hikers and whatnot. Didn't see any bears, luckily. And then on the way down the mountain, I decided to show you what Hollow Top looks like. Of course, there's far too much snow up there right now for us to hike up there. We have hiked up in May before, and we can get just kind of to the base of the summit, and you're up to your waist in snow, and it's just not productive. And we're not trying to snowshoe all the way up there. So we're going back up there in July to summit again. It's a really cool little spot. In fact, I probably can throw in a picture or two from the last time I was up there. So that was Hollow Top, and then that was the Little Cirque Lake, which is a lake that's created by a glacier digging a hole as it comes down the mountain, as it came off of Hollow Top. That's as far as we got last May, because we couldn't summit because of the snow, but that's where we can get to about this time of year. And then the last picture was me actually on top of the summit. So then, of course, like we do every time we head out that direction, we have to make a stop at the Pony Bar. There's the Pony Bar. So the Pony Bar was great, as it always is. It's just an epic dive bar in a cool little mountain town. If you ever get a chance to go check it out, you should. And then, we hit up the Sacagawea Hotel on the way back through. That's in Three Forks, Montana, a pretty cool historic old hotel. I'll show you a little footage from there. I do like this place. Yeah. It's a cool old hotel in Three Forks, Montana. Great restaurant and nice rooms and kind of a defense center. Cool place. So then we got the machines drop back off, and they're really fun. They're trail width side-by-sides, so you can take them on like Forest Service trails that are only allowed for four-wheelers, where larger side-by-sides are not allowed to go, but they can take us almost anywhere. And then, we got to hike the really hard stuff, but they're pretty cool. I'll show them to you. They didn't leave us stranded. Okay, and with that was my score for the weekend. A massive 5-pound bar, likely from copper from the Butte mine, a couple of nuggets from the Butte mine, which are going to pretty well be permanent fixtures. I don't know, I'll find a spot to put them where they're not totally in the way. This little Uniphase token, and then if you're ever in Bozeman for any reason, hit up Bridger and feel free to check out his website or give him a call to see what he's got in his inventory. Appreciate you checking this one out as always. I will look forward to talking to you in the comments, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.